I'm Sharita.
And I'm Tiffany.
We are Dream Halo Foundation.
And you are now watching
The Dialogue.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Dialogue. I'm Tiffany France, and I am joined with our Dream Halo team. Behind me is Amaris, Sharita, and Monica. And also, we have Lisa McCraney here, licensed social worker, counselor, and also marriage and family counselor as well, right? And she's also the founder of Healing Hearts, a counseling and consulting firm. So, and their goal is to offer help for the hurting. Yes. So we're so happy to have her here. And while we're here today, what our dialogue is about is mental health in today's world. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to dialogue and really delve into what this world looks like in mental health. I know I can speak towards my anxiety. The type of anxiety that keeps you up at night, the type of anxiety where you're not eating, the type of anxiety where sometimes you just don't want to get out the bed. So we're going to talk about that. And each of us are going to talk about our struggles, our challenges, and our experiences. But don't get it twisted. This is not a counseling session. This is an open dialogue. We know that somebody needs to hear what we have to say, and we know that it can help you. And if it does, please comment and let us know. But we also have Lisa here because we want to be able to base it off of facts and not opinions. Right. And we know this is that deep of a topic where it's worth that. Right. So by the end of this dialogue, we hope that we can help you, and we hope that you can learn so much so you can lead to a much healthier life and can live your best life.
Okay.
All right. So speaking of that, like Lisa already went over like what her triggers were and how she worked on it. Right. So I want to know like about from all of us. Yeah. And, you know, this is a very transparent and open conversation. Yeah. What have been some of your triggers and how have you worked on it? Whether it's been like you going to counseling, whether it's been like the community that you've had around you, you know, I think that it's worth us being transparent to our viewers and whoever's going to watch this to know those things. I know for me, I'll start my triggers and how I knew that I had anxiety was the not being able to get out of my bed or not wanting to, and then just not being able to go to sleep at night just because my mind is constantly going crazy. So the first thing I did was recognize that I had a problem. Like I'm like, okay, this is not okay. This isn't normal. This isn't Tiffany's normal. Because I'm not going to define anybody's normal, but it wasn't my normal. And then I also just went to my family. You do, if you do not even have family, you do have to have somebody or somebody that you can reach out to, that you can talk that over with. I think that's at least for me. And then Lisa already gave the steps that you could take if a counselor's that need. But that's the first thing I did. I just kind of cried to my sisters, my cousins, just letting them know like this is what I'm going through and I need y'all help. And because of my faith, I did ask for prayer and you know for them to pray with me. And then every day I just kind of had somebody there to like hold me accountable. But I feel like that was my work to getting better. And I still am not opposed to seeing a therapist. I've never have, but I do want to. I think that is the next step if I were to feel not normal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm totally for therapy.
And it's okay. It's okay. One of my triggers that just happened this week, right? Because I do have anxiety, but I've come a long way. But I found this, so I told you I joined CrossFit. Just pray for me. But I just finished week 4. But on Monday, I went in and for the first time, there were way more people in the gym than had been in there. And I've always had issues with the gym and I've had issues with men in gym because I don't have such a great history, you know, with men. I was sexually abused as a child. There are certain things that just me and men, that it's just triggering, right? And so going to that's why I don't do the Y and Planet Fitness and all of that because you go up there, all them muscle men, they in there making a bunch of noise and grunting and all of that stuff, and I just don't like it. It's just too much. It's intimidating, especially when you're trying to learn. So CrossFit is a better fit for me. Yes, it's tough, but it's a smaller environment. And so far, there had only been maybe 4 or 5 people in there with me until Monday, and it was like 10 people. And it was like lots of men in there. And so CrossFit, when you're lifting weights, so we have this this thing, they lift and they teach you the right form, and you keep lifting heavy, heavier, heavier, heavier.
Yeah.
And when you get to that final lift, you just drop the bar and it hits the ground. That noise was throwing me off. Like I could not, it was too many people in there. Them big old men was in there. They kept dropping them big old bars. It was just too much. And literally, I felt intimidated. I felt like I was in a place I didn't belong. Now, those people weren't bothering me. They are so great. Like they'll high five you in a minute, say, good job, Lisa. They know I'm struggling. They be seeing me trying to get them burpees through. And they weren't bothering me, but I was intimidated. All of a sudden, I felt small because that's my normal trigger that the devil says, what you doing here? And if I believe him, then I'll start asking. And so for 45 minutes of my hour workout, I struggled. And finally, and so part of that struggle, I tried to fight that trigger. So I moved all the way to the back of the gym, but I could still see everybody. And it wasn't until the last 5 minutes of my workout that I turned my back on them. And then all of a sudden, I could do the moves. All of us, and before I knew it, my coach was behind me saying, "Good, Lisa, good." I'm thinking, where'd she come from? But in 5 minutes, I got it together. But for 45, I struggled. I struggled trying to get through just my own head. Nobody said anything to me. It was just me. It's all me. So
work to defeat that. Those negative thoughts.
Yeah, so one of my triggers were after I had my son, Isaiah, I experienced heavy. I didn't know it was postpartum, but now I can identify what it was. And that's major. I think that it's important that you identify what you are experiencing so you can call it out and know what you're dealing with.
But if nobody ever told you about it,
then how do you know?
How do you know?
And that's why I think that this dialogue is so important because now you're able to say, oh, well, maybe I do have that. So now I can call it out and I can go seek the help that I need to get it fixed. So I wish I had something like this to identify, okay, that's a feeling that a lot of people have, like you're not the only one that has a child and the experience not wanting to be a mom to that child.
Not wanting them, not wanting
hearing
to touch
the baby
them.
cry and not having no connection. Literally waking up like, oh, I gotta do this again. Why did God choose me? When it is to the outside world looked at as a blessing, you feel like it was a curse. And you're like, well, what happened? Well, where did the disconnect go? And you just don't feel any happiness to it. You don't feel any joy coming out of it, and it gets you into a place where you don't want to connect with anybody. You don't even have connections with anybody. You feel like no one understands you. Why am I here? How can I do this? How do I get through raising this child? You have a whole lot of community around you, sisters, cousins, family, everybody, but you still feel alone. And it's like, literally, that was my biggest trigger I ever had. And when you said it today, like, I think that now that was my cherry on the cake. I think I always had depressed issues, but that was like, woo. Here you go. It's time to deal with it now.
That's what postpartum does. Postpartum says, okay, hello, because it's your body, your hormones as women. Our bodies are just going to do stuff. So we're going to have some ups and downs anyway, just by nature of our hormones changing. And so you all are still in the young club. And so there are some things that you're probably experiencing now, but as you hit 40 and 50 and things like that, it's a whole nother level of crazy that comes, as the spikes. Y'all see what I got, my hot flash helper, right? Because it's just part of the journey now. I cannot leave home without these. I have one in every bag. I shame my daughter. She's over there. Listen, they with me. If not, one day I just had the freezer open. She said, "What are you doing?" Just give me a minute.
Give me cool down.
Just give me 1 second. I've done it at the store. And so our bodies are naturally going to do that. Right? And then if you add anything that's mental or emotional, and not just that, some things that we experience, depression has a chemical or a biological effect to it. Right? And so some stuff, you got your hormones acting up, then the dopamine and serotonin and all of that stuff on the inside of you is out of whack as well. You're going to have some stuff going on. But if you don't know, you don't know. But what you do know is this isn't how I normally am. This isn't how I want to be. Like, I don't want to live like this every day. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to be in a place where I don't want to be bothered with my kids.
Right.
Because I do love them, and Lord, I begged you for them. But
right.
Yeah.
Right. No, right. And that's where that was where I got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to be this way. Like everybody around me is so happy to be new aunties and like, I was the first one in the family, in my immediate family to have, the first, child. I'm just like, okay, I know that I'm so blessed and so grateful to be here and to be a mom. And some people don't have this opportunity, but I don't feel this way, God. How do I get to feel this way again? So I, honestly, I took the actions. I literally made myself get out the house and made myself be around people that were loving on me and speaking affirmations into me and helping me out. And I actually received help. A lot of times you think you can just do it on your own. Like, I can figure this out. Like, I got it. I don't need your help. But I learned that it's better to receive and to actually intake everything that's coming to you. When someone say, can I watch him for you? Sure. Can I take you out to get your nails done? Sure. Those things made me feel alive again in a sense. And then honestly, getting back into church because when I was in my postpartum, I for some reason walked away from God. I didn't pray because I felt like you knew what you did. So why go to you? So I started to give more time back to God and pray. And I started to pray with him. He was just 3 months old. I'm just praying with him. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't all of a sudden. I would say really close to his year birthday, I was like, wow, I'm actually happy to be a mom. Let me throw a big party. He deserves this because I have not been nice this whole year. And so I think it was just me actually putting actions into like what I knew wasn't right and like saying, I gotta do better than this. And then once I actually accepted life and my journey for what it was, I was happy. And now I would never, ever not want to be a mom. Or I wouldn't even rewrite what happened. It had to happen the way it did, and I'm okay with that. And I think you have to get to a point where saying, I'm okay with how this is going. It could have been different. It could have worked out a little bit better, but I'm okay with it because God has a plan for me, and I just got to trust this thing. So,
That's really good. Triggers for me. So my mental health journey, it is a bit different. So I went through a long period of time where I didn't realize I was going through a mental unhealthiness. I didn't realize, nor did I put a name onto anxiety or depression. I when I started nursing school, it was a very stressful time, and I put all my mind and energy on school, and I thought that was just okay to do. I didn't notice what my family noticed. So it took my family to say, like, Shrita, you lost weight. It's my family to say, and the guy I was with at the time, a friend of mine, took him to say, like, you're getting mad for no reason. Like, you've been in your room for 12 hours. So it took people, I was oblivious to it. So if anyone's like me, like, it's kind of even hard right now for me to think of a trigger, because how you know what triggered it if you didn't even know you was even going through it. So it was hard for me at that time to think of a trigger, but to be honest, that was 4 years ago, and I'm still dealing with the damage that was made for me then. I still, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Shrita. It's okay.
I still battle with eating, so that's still a thing for me. I still battle with anxiety. And I still have a lot of work to do. But the things that I've done, the things that I've done to help me is counseling, of course. Counseling was life-saving for me. It helped me not only in my eating, but my relationships. Like I said, the anxiety took over every facet of my life. So counseling helped me to take it all one step at a time. But I do journaling. Journaling helped me a lot. Journaling helped me so much. I'm a venter. I have to vent. And counseling was not easy for me because I'm very private. So to talk to a stranger was difficult for me. So journaling helped me because I feel like I'm venting still, but I still feel like it was my own, like private. Like it was something that no one else knew but me. But I was still releasing it. So that helped me a lot too. But also speaking to someone else helped me a lot too, because to have that person who was not judgmental, whose job was to kind of like figure out my mind. I hate to say it like that, but that's pretty much like what they're there for, right?
Or let's help you order it.
Exactly.
Literally,
Exactly.
Because I tell people all the time, counseling, my job is not to fix. That's not my assignment at all. And sometimes people will get ahead of God trying to do God's work. But the Bible says that some of us are some will be planters and some will water, but it's God that gives the increase. So I'm either planting or watering in your life as a counselor, but between you and God, that's how the work is going to get done. And so it's gonna be where it's sometimes and just to give you some support and encouragement, it's always work. So I finished counseling in April of this year, but guess what? Every single day I have to get up and I have to agree that I'm not going to let anxiety and depression drag me today, that I'm going to drag it, right? And so sometimes it has to be very intentional. So for a very long time, some of the things I did to help myself was I went and bought, purple's my favorite color. And so I went and bought purple lipstick, which is out of the norm for me because I'm normally a real dark girl or a burgundy or something like that. But I went and bought purple lipstick, a $2 tube from Dollar General, right? Because I can't afford MAC. I'm not, all of y'all that can go in there, kudos, but I can't. But I found a really pretty $2 lipstick at the Dollar General, and I bought a few of them, and that was almost like my Superwoman cape. It was what I needed to show up to the world. So for a season of time on the rough days, and I saved it for the rough days. Like I didn't wear it every day unless I needed to, but I put my purple lipstick on. I had a necklace that said Leap of Faith. I almost wore it today, but I have a necklace that says Leap of Faith very subtly, and I would put that on because anxiety, you need to do something, right? Anxiety, you need something tangible. And so I had that necklace, or sometimes I would play with my earrings or put a bracelet on it. As you can see, I don't have any of my, so the only support I have with me is this. And this became a support as well because the way my anxiety began to show up was through headaches and then epic hot flashes that had nothing to do with anything else, like epic. It felt like I was combusting. And so I went through a series between my counselor and my doctor where we figured out the headaches wasn't brain cancer. It was my anxiety's way of trying to escape. And so this helps me when I'm having typically I'll go into this huge hot something, and there's a difference between a 42-year-old hot flash and an anxiety flash. And they feel 100% different, but this helps me. I know even though I show up and I'm a dope counselor, I know I do a great job, and I know I'm going to show up to the scene and do what I need to do because God has gifted me. But that don't mean that anxiety ain't going to show up and be like, girl, please. So this has to come with me no matter what. And I only have to use it every now and then, but I need it. And even if I just hold it, it's part of what I use to let myself know I'm okay. Right.
So we're talking about triggers and like what has been triggering us as far as anxiety and depression, and what are some of the things we're doing to work on those things? Like we've already recognized it, so now what's the work? Yeah. What are your triggers?
Well, this past winter, we had like a death in our family back to back to back. And one death that particularly I felt like really bad anxiety was with my uncle. I was very close with my uncle. And when he passed, it happened all of a sudden, but when he passed, I was anxious going to bed. I did not want to go to sleep. So I would be up till like 4 o'clock in the morning. And it was just really hard to like go through that. But then also like, I felt like my heart was beating too fast. I was checking my blood pressure all the time, like something's going on with me. So with grief, like going through stuff like that, especially when it happened to us, like 2 of our cousins, then my uncle, it was just like so much. It was so much all at one time. And then it carried throughout the year, and I didn't realize I was having panic attacks. I was sweating and like not knowing why, or my mind was just racing. So more recently, I just feel like I've had dealt with like a lot of rejection in my life. So then I feel like I'm always constantly thinking like, okay, what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? Like, so overcoming that, I had to like literally go in my word and write down everything that God said about me. And I have post-its on my wall. Like if you go in my wall on my room right now, it's like post-its like everything about who I am. And so every day I'm like telling myself, this is who I am. Like you're not what your thoughts are. You're not who everybody else told you were. Like this is who God is telling you you are, and this is who you are.
So good.
So
good,
yeah.
so
So writing it down really helped, and talking, having community. Like this is literally answered prayer. Me moving here and being around people that's going on the same journey as me, that can walk me through steps, and that can be here and be my accountability partner. So
I love it.
So you all have already said all the tools I would tell people. I would tell you to put Post-it notes everywhere. I would tell people to get a journal, especially for anxiety, because anxiety literally is 5,000 thoughts in your head, 10,000, 100,000, or what have you. And journaling, Post-it notes, all of that actually gives those thoughts a place to live other than inside of your head. And then you can either deal with them then or walk away and come back and say, and once you look at it, once it's on paper, you'll be like, what is that? And you can cross that right on off. Well, yes, you can cross that off. One of the things that I still do to myself, not as often as I used to because I don't need to, but on the occasion that I do, I say, Lisa, what's the truth? What's the truth? Because anxiety will tell you a lie in a minute, right? You got anxiety and the devil with his own ugly self. And so, and he'll do it with a simple what if. What if, or you should have, whatever. And so I pause and say, Lisa, what's the truth? The truth is my husband loves me, right? He loves me beyond a shadow of a doubt, and he wouldn't trade me in for anybody. So even if he accidentally got smart with me or got smart on purpose, that doesn't take his love away. My children love me, and I'm a good mom, right? And I've given them the best of me. And even if I got to go to work to build a better life for us, it don't mean that they don't love me. Even if they poke their lip out, right? I'm a dope counselor, right? I'm dope, and I'm gifted for this. And the Bible said that my gift will make room for me. And so even if I'm not where everybody else is, right? Even if my version isn't everybody else's, the truth is I'm dope and I'm good at this. And it's not, I'm not dope on my own accord, but I'm dope because the Lord made me so.
That's right.
And he gifted me to do this. And when I touch a room and I touch a situation, I'm coming with 150, right? So if I can tell myself the truth, no matter what it is, then anxiety and depression don't win, right? At all. And that's it. And so when I said earlier, you got to partner with your healing, that's part of it. You got to tell yourself the truth, because if not, the devil's going to win. Anxiety is going to win. Depression is going to win. Grief is going to win. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things, right? The Bible doesn't tell us what Paul dealt with, but he dealt with something. And we know that because he said, I asked the Lord to take it away. He said, there was something sent to me by Satan to buffet me. Right? And I asked the Lord to take it away 3 times. And he said, no, bro. Nope, but my grace is sufficient. So I'm going to leave you with what you got. So some of us may walk through anxiety and depression, or at least have that as a part of us for the rest of our lives until Jesus comes to get us. And I'm okay with that now.
Right.
I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with my faith. The fact that I have anxiety and some days it's bigger than me, right? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with God. I'm not going to hell. None of that stuff. None of it. It's all a lie, right? Because our witness, Paul, right, the chief apostle, he said, the Lord left me with my stuff, but he said, my grace is sufficient. And if it was sufficient for him, it's sufficient for me. And so that's it. And so that's literally, if we can partner with our healing. And that's all God is expecting of us, is that you show up, right? Understanding that this is a part of your cross, and we're going to carry it, but you ain't never got to carry it by yourself. Never, ever, ever. Because he said, I'm with you. Lo, I'm with you always until the end of the age. He said, take my yoke upon you, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So if we realize that I do not have to beat down depression by myself. Because my daddy said he was going to get it. Right? And so that's pretty much.
That's it.
I also think it's good. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's so good. I also think it's good to just say that it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay to have those feelings of rejection, anxiety, and depression. And why am I not eating? And
it's okay to call me crazy.
It's okay to
Whatever.
call me crazy.
Call me crazy. We need to make a T-shirt,
Yeah,
y'all.
Call me
that
crazy.
says,
It's
call me
okay.
crazy.
I'll own it.
You know?
Yeah.
And like,
I want an I'm dope t-shirt.
Right,
Yes.
right. I know I'm dope. Thank you.
I know I'm dope. Yes.
But I just think that's so good to just let people know that it's okay.
Right.
And I think oftentimes we don't want to hear that it's okay because then we might be deemed as crazy or what's wrong with you again or something like that.
Yes.
But it's okay.
Okay.
And just to hear you talk about many people in the Bible that experienced it, it's almost like God is like, daughter, it's okay.
It's okay.
Paul already went through it.
Yes.
I'm gonna get you through.
I'm gonna get you. You know, he talks in Hebrews about that great cloud of witnesses.
Yeah.
He says, since we have this great cloud of witnesses, let us throw away every sin that so easily entangles us. That's his problem. Y'all ain't going through nothing ain't already been through.
That's right.
And so
that's why it's there.
That's why it's there. And so don't think you the first one.
Right.
Like this is a surprise to you. It ain't a surprise to me.
Right.
You know, I knew, but I knew you would. You said it was necessary, right? You wouldn't trade any of it. I wouldn't. You know, and some of my hurts and pains, there are parts of me that wish it didn't happen, but I also know. I also know that that's part of my testimony, and that everything I've been through, the Lord has allowed a client to come and cross my path for every single one of my experiences. There is not one thing that I haven't gone through that the Lord hasn't allowed me to speak back into somebody's life. And so he said all things work together
For his good.
for the good of them who love God, you know, and are called. So.
So what would you suggest for someone to, okay, I identified I have a problem. I got to do the work. Okay, this video has inspired me. I got to do the work. I got to get up. I got to put my posters up. I got to, get out of bed. I got to do all the things that I have to do. But where do I start? Like, how do I find the right counselor that fits me or?
Right. And so a lot of places. So, of course, I'm available.
Absolutely.
So you can always reach out to me, www.hope. The number 2, healing.org. Healing Hearts is Christian-based counseling. And so I'm available. But if not me, I live in Akron. I serve Akron, Canton, and Cleveland. So if not me, you guys have people local, right? And so I would say you could go on a website that I think is pretty cool, and I'm actually listed on it. It's called Therapy for Black Girls.
Okay. Wow.
Therapy for Black Girls. And that's you can get on and type in your state, and it's going to show you every female Black therapist that's available within your state. And so a lot of my clients find me that way, but it's literally set up because sometimes we just want to see people that look like us, right? Now, I am not an advocate that only Black people can help Black people. That is not the truth. However, I do understand that for some of us, that's what we need to get started. And so my job, I want you to get started. I don't care who you see. Right. So I want you to get started. And Therapy for Black Girls is a great place for that. She has a podcast that she started. And so a lot of people just listen to the podcast and click on search Ohio, they find me. And that's literally how I've gotten a good portion of my clients. But so across the board, if you guys have followers that are not in Ohio and what have you, Therapy for Black Girls is it. Psychology Today list, or you just go in your Google counselors in my area, right? And then find somebody, talk to your pastor. Most churches have a connection, even with our church. I'm listed as one of the people that's available. So most churches have a care ministry that if they can't help you, they'll send you to somebody. Talk to a coworker. Here's one that's key, and I've been utilizing it. Anybody that has a human resource department, 9 times out of 10, your human resource department has given you information on your employee assistance program, EAP program. Do you know how many people don't use that?
It's a
Or
benefit.
don't-
A
a lot of people don't know about it.
And it is a free benefit. And I have had people get as many as 3 sessions covered. And there are some I just talked to somebody the other day, their EAP covers 10 sessions. Oh, that's unheard of. That's a good EAP. And that gives you at least 3 to 10 or however many they approve sessions free to you. And they pay me on your behalf. And so I say at least start there. Right. Now, you may have to go talk to a stranger, and you may have to talk to somebody that doesn't look like you.
Yeah.
But guess what?
Yeah.
You're the boss of counseling.
Yeah, that's
right? Counselors, literally, we are only guests in your story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get to, I am an honored guest
Yeah.
in what you bring to me.
Yeah.
You're your own expert.
Yeah.
So I'm literally not getting ready to tell you nothing you don't know. I'm just getting ready to help you organize your facts.
That's right.
Right?
Wow.
So you're going to lay them down there, but I'm not.
Wow.
Those are your facts. I'm not giving you nothing new.
Wow.
If you can go in knowing what I have going on is confusing to me right now, and I'm getting ready to go talk to somebody who's just going to let me lay it on the table, and then we're going to organize it.
Right.
And when I walk out, I'm still going to have my same cards,
Right.
but they're going to be in an order that I can carry them.
Wow.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh my God, this was
Yeah.
so good.
It was so good.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wow. Oh my God, this was so good.
So good.
Well, you guys, thank you for joining us with our dialogue on mental health. We really, really appreciate you joining this conversation. And this is something that's really, really close to us, as we have all obviously shared our personal experience with our mental challenges that we have, and emotional challenges and spiritual challenges. But we wanted you to know that first and foremost, you're not alone. And that secondly, that there is a lot of resources out here that can help you get through where you're going, what you're going through and where you're at. We just got to get up and do the work, y'all. And that's what I've heard this whole conversation, just getting up and doing the work from all of our triggers, from every experience that we had to get up, acknowledge that we had the problem, and then do the work. And I just really want to encourage everyone. It's not just about the African American community. It's about everybody. Get up and do the work. If you feel like, oh my God, I'm not feeling myself lately, something isn't right. 9 out of 10, you're right. Trust that feeling in your system, and know that it's right, and get up and do the work. Be the best you that you can be. God has a great plan for you, for all of us, and we have to be at our best to do his best. So I just hope that this conversation, that this dialogue touched some part of your life, touched some part of something in you that said, yep, I knew that was right. And Lisa, do you have anything that you want to close out and say? Because you were just so awesome.
Listen, y'all were so dope. I mean, y'all didn't need me. Y'all did a good job. But no, seriously, everything that has been shared already, you are important enough. You matter. Your feelings matter. Your opinions matter. And sometimes carrying those kinds of things will make you think that you don't. But if you can go in knowing that it's okay for me to want to be better. Right? It's okay for me. You got to know that. You got to agree with that. Because if you know that it's okay for you to get better, you will do the work. Right? You will do. You are important enough. You were not sent here to suffer. You weren't. God says it's not my will that any one of us should suffer. So if you're suffering, write in the comments. Seriously. Write in the comments, and they will connect you to me. And if I can't help you, I'm going to connect you to somebody who can. You do not have to struggle alone. And that is a trick and the lie of the enemy that tells you just got to be by yourself. Nope. You call somebody.
And
you call anybody.
And also I want to add, there should be no other substance that you use to suppress how you feel other than getting up, getting out, and speaking on how you feel. I've been there. There's no alcohol, there's no drug, there's no friend, there's no magazine, there's no nothing that can say, okay, I'm just going to do this because it makes me feel better. Eventually, you have to face it. And you have to just face who you are, and just have to know that you're worth it, and I can be better than this. And I just want to throw that out there, because I just kept hearing that in my spirit, just to say, like, we have to let it go of all the things that are suppressing how we are really feeling, and really live it out.
And
really,
speak
the only
it out.
reason
why we use those things anyhow is because they give us a pseudo safety. But realistically, it only lasts a little while, which is why we got to keep going back to it. Because it's pseudo, it's not real, it's fake, it's renegade, it's none of that. You know, and so you have to find something that's real and lasting. And if you're able to do that, I promise you, if you do the work will work.
I love that. We're going to end it with
that.
The work will work. Do the work, the work will work. We're just going to end it with that.
If you do the work,
you know. Once again, you guys, thank you for joining Dream Halo Foundation for the dialogue of mental health. We'll be back with another one coming soon. Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you, everybody. We love y'all.